Your success in personal selling could be as dependent on the relationships you form with others as much as it is with anything else you do to enhance yourself as a sales professional. Think of everyone you work with or contact. There's management personnel, a company support staff, those employees known as secondary decision makers, and even customers themselves. In this unit, Developing a Relationship Strategy, we'll take an in-depth look at just how important those relationships are, how your thought processes can improve the value of a relationship strategy, how nonverbal factors influence a sales image, how we can use conversational strategies to build those relationships, and the things we can do to make an effective self-improvement plan based on the strategies we find here. So when developing a relationship strategy, we need to make use of a wide range of interpersonal skills. To do this involves taking advantage of emotional intelligence. That's self-confidence, trustworthiness, adaptability, initiative, optimism, empathy, and well-developed social skills. When speaking of relationships, we're taking a three-pronged approach: building new relationships, turning personal relationships into business relationships, and then managing those relationships. Now, when this is done well, we can see win-win outcomes for both the salespeople and their clients or customers. Adopting a win-win philosophy can mean that the relationship adds value in how the salesperson and the client work together. A sales rep can work harder to understand the customer's positions, needs, and concerns, and this makes the salesperson an empathizer. Furthermore, customers just feel more comfortable when dealing with someone with whom they've had a good relationship. They can count on fair treatment, that their needs and concerns will be acted upon. They'll get good and accurate and helpful information, and even good counsel. The salesperson who is honest, responsible, and genuinely concerned about the customer's success will add value to the sales process. Taking the relationship a step further, we have a partnership, a recognized, a long-term working cooperative agreement with a customer. What we want to create here is the lifetime customer that will keep bringing in repeat business and end up being a great source for future referrals. In developing relationship strategies, the focus shifts to four groups: customers who actually use products or services and depend on a sales rep's trust, support, and goals; secondary decision makers who work with and have access to customers, such as the receptionist or the assistant who can make meetings go or no-go events, or others who influence the customer's ultimate buying decisions; company support staff who work in areas such as shipping, service, credit, training, or research; and finally, management personnel who work directly under the boss and who can help facilitate the boss's ultimate buying decisions. From here, it's important to be able to adapt your relationship strategy to the type of selling situation you have, whether it's transactional, consultative, and strategic alliance selling. The relationship may not be necessarily the foremost factor, as the clients often already know a great deal about the product and the job is just getting it to them. The transactional sale, though, usually deals with the basics of price, supply, and delivery schedules. In the consultative sale, the relationship becomes more important. The salesperson and the client may end up working closely together through mutual trust and respect. Here, the client can count on the sales rep providing a solution to a problem or a challenge. Become an expert in some aspect of your field to gain expert power and enhance your value. Develop a positive mental attitude. Try listening to or reading others with positive approaches that you admire. The beauty of the relationship strategy is that it can bring you as a seller together with a customer to achieve a win-win result. Empathy is another important characteristic to enable a salesperson to reach a customer. By trying to see a situation through the eyes of the client can go a long way toward helping solve a problem and ultimately win the sale. Ego drive is another characteristic that helps propel the salesperson to reach goals. Ego drive is that inner force that fuels a need to make the sale, and it's a powerful motivating force. So now imagine how effective a salesperson can be when empathy and ego drive are working together and feeding off of each other. Character and integrity are other traits that help round out the thought processes. Character qualities of honesty and moral strength help the salesperson to win the respect of others. Integrity is the consistent application of what you know, what you say and what you do. It's a formula for trustworthiness and added value for your effectiveness as a sales professional. Now, as with meeting any person for the first time, what happens in those first few seconds and minutes can decide how the whole sales call will go. Now, we can't help but make quick judgments about each other. Your voice quality, your posture, manners, and clothes can all be a part of how the new concept sizes you up in that first instant. We don't even think about it, at least not consciously. When we're dealing with others, we're constantly sending out communication signals, either verbal or nonverbal. So what do we mean nonverbal? Well, nonverbal messages are simply messages without words, and they can be very powerful. We can intentionally or even unwittingly send out some very intimate information and not say or write a word. Their facial expressions, voice tone, appearance, gestures, and posture. The experts tell us that the nonverbal messages actually have more impact than our spoken messages. The way you enter a room and the way you carry yourself can speak volumes. In sales, the key is to project confidence, a friendly smile, a good posture, and a strong stride. There's the handshake. Maintain eye contact through the handshake and keep it firm, but not a vice grip. The grip should be deep to convey friendship. The length of holding the grip can vary, but don't pump more than once or twice, and try to keep your hand dry before shaking hands. Facial expressions can be very revealing as well, and the smile is the one thing that conveys the most positive impression about ourselves. People tend to trust others who smile. And then there's eye contact. Keep it direct, but not so long that it becomes a threatening stare. And now we'll take up the importance of your appearance. Keep your clothing appropriate for the occasion. The same goes for your hair, fragrances, and any jewelry you happen to be wearing. Of course, we'll keep our verbal communications in mind, and here our voices do say a great deal about us beyond the words our voices actually say. Basically, find a comfortable speaking rate, comfortable for both you and the customer. Not too fast, not too slow. Add some enthusiasm and don't fall into a monotone, colorless pattern. Use good English and avoid words or expressions that will make you sound immature, ignorant, or even stupid. We also want to take a look at how etiquette fits into relationships, and we have some simple do's and don'ts here. Don't use a new contact's first name too quickly. Avoid offensive comments or rough language, and that means, yes, swearing. Be punctual. If you're in a restaurant with a client, don't discuss business before you order your meal. And of all things, turn off the cell phone as you meet with the client. Light conversation to start off a meeting can go far in ensuring that the meeting will be a success. Small talk off the top can serve as an important get-acquainted period. Make yourself genuinely interested in people. Listen to and encourage others talk about themselves. Don't interrupt. And then during the conversation, keep the talk in the other person's interest and find topics that are important to the other person. Ways to get conversations going can be to comment on the observations around yourself. Oh yes, and as quaint as it might seem, well, somehow talking about the weather always does seem to work. So look for ways to give sincere compliments, and then look for mutual interests that you can discuss freely and easily. They can go far in developing that personal selling relationship. Set goals with a clear written statement of what you want to accomplish. Use visualization. Imagine yourself doing whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and repeat it in your mind over and over. And then there's the positive self-talk. Keep your thoughts in your head and use them to motivate yourself. And then when you accomplish a task or a challenge, give yourself a small reward to keep yourself going. Self-improvement efforts help keep or make you sharp, and they can motivate you to use your talents, which of course increases your chance of success.